في حمى الحق ومن حول الحرم أمة تؤذى وشعب يهتضم فزع القدس وضجت مكة وبكت طيبة من فرط الألم في حمى الحق ومن حول الحرم أمة تؤذى وشعب يهتضم فزع القدس وضجت مكة وبكت طيبة من فرط الألم ربي هل قدرت ألا ينجلي ربي هل قدرت ألا ينجلي ما أصاب الشرق من خطب عمم ما أصاب الشرق من خطب عمم.
It's a very simple setup. The main basic elements of radio station is through this 4x4 meters we are fighting the Saudi Empire.
And you're doing all this from this homemade sound booth.
It's quite disappointing shape. So that's it.
Well, but it proves that we're in the era of low-cost global media.
Exactly, but because we have fact, because we are enabling ordinary persons to speak, and because people are really coming forward, we are challenging this huge empire. لا لسه قصدك النشيدة. You better take the shot from the other side.
I was just going to get you sitting down and closing the door.
Okay. مرحبا بكم أيها الإخوة في هذه الليلة مساء الثلاثاء وكما وعدناكم حديثنا هذه الليلة حول قضية الجمعة والشركات الاستثمار التي تم تجميد حساباتها واعتقال بعض المسؤولين عنها. They confiscated the money and the person Jum'ah was outside the country, so they brought him from outside the country and imprisoned him.
Dr. Saad speaking English now. He tried to translate.
The lawyer had a meeting with the Ministry of Interior, and look at that. This is a commercial problem arranged or discussed by the Ministry of Interior, which gives you an evidence that Prince Naif is actually running everything in the country. Now he orders Sama. The Mira movement for Islamic Reform in Arabia campaigns for a comprehensive political change in Arabia. Now we don't call it Saudi Arabia because we do not accept the name Saudi. And comprehensive change in Arabia means converting the current absolute monarchy into a system where you have power sharing, you have accountability, you have transparency, you have independent judiciary in addition to freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. Intact, and it is a real investment. Is that Jum'ah has
this guy, I just called him and he asked to change his name, his voice. So we have this machine now to change the voice. It could be a police officer, it could be a businessman.
And then the rest of the points are just suggestions by the lawyer. And we start now taking calls in management. تفضل يا أبو أحمد.
Saad, do you know anything about who this person is in terms of his position or?
No.
It's just a caller.
He claims to be has links with the intelligence. We have no way to substantiate that. We as peaceful reformers, as people who believe in peaceful change, we rely almost totally on the rule of communication. And we believe that the regime currently survives on what we call legitimacy of secrecy and deception. Once you break this barrier of secrecy and deception and expose the regime in its reality and enable people to communicate with each other, remove this monopoly of opinion, monopoly of communication, You do not need an army to change Arabia.
عث فيه القوم حتى مله حرمة ترعى وحق يحترم اكشف البأساء وارحم أمما تتلوى من ملال وسأم ما لنا في هذه الدنيا سوى غارة العاد وعصف المحتكم قد سئمناها حياة مرة.
And what I'm saying about the website, even though Saad put a disclaimer at the beginning of the website asking his supporters and sympathizers not to put in incitement or violent materials, but it attracts people with violent minds. That gives me a message that there's a meeting of mind here. It is just like you in your home. If every night a mafia type people come to your home, even if you say they are uninvited, I did not call them to come to my home. There got to be something wrong with you to invite those kind of rhetorics, those kind of materials. Okay, here is, again, this is the kind of friends who hang around in his website. Somebody is putting a picture of 9/11 hijackers. So someone else is replying and said, oh, may God reward you. You reminded me of a day which made me very happy. He's referring to 9/11. Again, a message from Osama bin Laden. This is Osama speaking. If he does really want to clean his sites from those kind of fanaticism, he had to work day and night. I think there will be very little left. This is all Al-Qaeda material. It is not reform material, it's Al-Qaeda material.
But is the government concerned about him purely what is published on the website and said on his radio and television broadcasts?
Look, it is not helpful when the government and the people of Saudi Arabia are being faced and challenged by radical, violent, militant groups who are using blind terrorism against civilians, whether Saudis or non-Saudis, who are trying to destroy the economy. To give a hand to those people by justification, by support, it is not good for the country. It's not a patriotic action.
So what has the government been doing about the radio and TV? Has it taken any action to get it closed down? Because Saad al-Faqih accuses the Saudi government of putting political pressure on satellite providers to deny him access. And he also, in the past, has accused the government of actually physically jamming the radio signal.
Again, because it is not helping. It is not good for reform in Saudi Arabia to have such incitements. Not because he's such a good reformer. There are reformers in Saudi Arabia who are active openly. Unfortunately, some of them were imprisoned, but they are respected. It is part of the price any reform movement has to pay. But they are doing that in Saudi Arabia. They have the courage to do that within their country, direct to their leadership.
The first heavy impact of violence in our campaign was September 11. September 11 was a very powerful incident, and you can never avoid commenting on it. You can never avoid giving it attention. To be honest, before September 11, we were going with a very successful social and economic discussion through the available means before the radio station, through the internet. And people were very much aware of our campaign regarding unemployment, poverty, social disintegration, and economic problems, and corruption, and other things. And suddenly September 11 came. Now, what are you going to do? You cannot go on. Nobody will give you attention. And you cannot ignore September 11 because it is the talk of everybody, including children and women and old people and everybody. So in one side, it was almost like pulling the carpet. So we have to stop our program in terms of discussing reform. But on the other side, because we are one of the best, as we claim, in understanding the phenomena of violence and phenomena of Bin Laden, phenomena of relation of this hostility towards America, we thought that we can exploit this chance to the maximum and convert this problem into a benefit.
Do you feel that the anger among young Saudis against the regime is still so high that in fact for you to condemn this violence would alienate an important part of the constituency for
this could be a reason, but the main reason is I take it as a principle. I hate slogans. I believe in action, and we always say that our work, our peaceful, powerful peaceful work, is probably the reason for reducing violence. I mean, what the regime is doing in cracking down on jihadis is actually increasing violence with the way that it approaches the problem of violence, while keeping every reason to motivate people to believe in force. When they throw people in jail, prevent freedom of expression, prevent freedom of assembly, even liberal reformers are in jail now for just writing a small petition. So how would you expect people to avoid violence? What we are doing through our powerful and effective and penetrating peaceful approach, we are actually absorbing or channeling or discharging this huge anger and directing it in a peaceful activity.
Do you have any time for anything else, Saad, or does it take over your life? Do you, your family,
No, I'm totally
your
dedicated.
I mean, do you take breaks?
Yes, I do. Occasionally I take my family to the countryside. I cannot leave Britain. I do not have passport. But every 3 months, 4 months, I disappear for 2 days.
What's your favourite spot?
I like Wales. I like mid Wales, quite wild.
People are quite friendly. I mean, do you dress
No.
Arab or do you dress Western?
Okay. الو ايوه انا معك دكتور سعد. فين بالضبط فين؟ اسمع فين بالضبط من الرياض؟ في حي المصيف؟ فاير شوتينج الو؟ وين بالضبط حي المصيف؟ مبدئيا جاءنا خبر يعني شاهد عيان، لكنه التفصيل سيأتينا بعد قليل، أن فيه جمس أحمر وكابرس كانت مطاردة من قبل دوريات، وحينما حوصروا ضربوا أحد الدوريات RPG ثم اختفوا.
We just received a call about the engine in what happened in Riyadh right now. They have 4 engines and 1 killed from the policeman.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
في حمى الحق ومن حول الحرم أمة تؤذى وشعب
نقلت وكالة رويترز عن مصادر أمنية سعودية أن تبادلا لإطلاق النار بين مطلوبين وقوات الأمن السعودية وقع في حي الملك فهد بالعاصمة الرياض مساء اليوم. ولم ترد بعد أي معلومات عن وقوع إصابات بين أي من الجانبين.
ايوه اين بس المنطقة لا تزال مليانة بالدوريات ومغلقة. السلام عليكم في تفاصيل.
And Al Jazeera, how did they get the story as far as you know?
I don't know. Maybe فرنسية. France Press.
Did they call you to check?
Huh?
Did they call you to check Al
No,
Jazeera or to see your
I
opinion?
can't. For the last 3 months, they have, under the request by the Saudis, they have boycotted us, Al Jazeera. We're under boycott from Al Jazeera by request from the Saudis. We would dare to bring Bin Laden and anger America, but we do not dare to bring you and anger Al Saud. After the end of 2002, the beginning of 2003, we succeeded in our first satellite and shortwave radio broadcast. After a few months, we succeeded in launching our first TV station around April 2003. And although the station was blocked and removed, at least we were able to tell people about our radio broadcast. And then our struggle to put up a TV station went on until now, a total of 5 times, where we succeeded in launching a TV station on TV, and it is by somehow blocked through political or commercial or even technical interference by the regime.
We're located in ASCO's Pleo transmission center, from where the actual transmission takes place of Islah TV, among other television channels as well. We are uplinking 4 channels on various satellites.
Describe what happened when you saw interference with the Islah TV signal, Thomas.
Well, as usual, we get a warning, or rather an alarm, when that happens, and our staff then checks what is actually happening, because you cannot be 100% sure that we are dealing with jamming. It could be anything. It could be weather conditions or whatever. So we use different equipment to check it. For example, on spectroscopes, and then you look at, for example, for one satellite, you look at the uplink frequency of that satellite, for that satellite, and if you can see 2 carrier waves at the same time and the same frequency on the same satellite, then you know for 100% that you are dealing with a third party interfering with your signal. Basically, we're dealing with jamming.
So that was what you saw with Islah
Exactly,
TV.
yeah.
What happened exactly? The alarm went off, and what had happened to the video signal?
The video and audio disappeared. It just got black. That's it. And you lose the signal also.
How long did it last? Can you remember?
Variously, but for the beginning it lasted like for almost a day, but then we switched to another frequency, so we got around this problem. Then we switched from one frequency to another, so that those who were jamming got a little bit confused, and afterwards it lasted for half an hour to 2 hours, let's say.
Finally, after a long struggle, we are back on air. We are now on 2 channels on Hotbird, and we intentionally wanted to appear on 2 channels, 2 different bouquets, so that if they jam one, we'll have one as a backup. And this time, we have secured a very strong contract, obliging the supplying company to provide alternative in case one of the channels is jammed. And also, we secured an ultimate protection of the satellite owner, which was not the case before. Hopefully this time we are not exposed to political or behind-scenes pressure. If you come with me now, so you can see, this is our logo. The logo has the globe with our name, Al-Islah, which means reform, and with one of the letters converted into magnifying lens on Arabia. So our mission in this TV channel is to make what's going on in Arabia transparent. Now, our TV channel is not real TV, not real picture. There is a lot of text in the screen, and this text is probably powerful enough to conduct our program back home. Unfortunately, we do not have the facilities to have a real continuous picture, so we believe that a useful text on the screen is enough. And this segment where we have the crawling news is extremely powerful. Indeed, I was told that this small 2-centimeter segment was the reason for the jamming, because we bring real hot news, which the regime is always keen to keep them secret.
Give me some examples of stories you've broken recently.
The disease of Prince Sultan. We were the first people to speak about Prince Sultan having cancer. We're the first people to specify the hospital he's going to be admitted to. We were the first people to speak about complications after the surgery. The Saudis have said it frankly to the British that if you succeed in stopping the radio or TV, we don't care what Al-Faqih does after that. Let him, even give him asylum. We don't care. So their aim is to stop our activity by any means. But because they cannot stop the TV relying on the law, they want to fabricate anything against me. And the current attempt is to link me to this alleged assassination attempt on Abdullah. It's quite versatile and easy. I mean, anybody in the team can do it. As much as technology making it easy for oppressive regimes to spy on their opponents and to use the technology to torture them and to corner them and to put them in jails, it's also an extremely useful tool to magnify your ability to defeat the oppressors. Now, I do not need a huge team to run this studio. Anybody of the team can do this job.
And you're here on your own at the moment.
Yeah, it does not need huge expertise. In few minutes, you will learn this program. All what you need is the facts. All it needs is good intention, sincere intention, so that people like you and like your project.
There have been suggestions in the media from Saudi officials that link Dr. Faqih with an alleged assassination plot against Crown Prince Abdullah. What can you tell me about that case and whether that is being pursued by the Saudi authorities?
That is actually being pursued very much. This is becoming the central focus point of any case that's being built up against Saad Faqih and his associates, because he obviously was not the only one involved in this. And this has become, the British government is very, to their credit, very actively pursuing that, as well are the Americans and other countries that had an indirect role in this scheme. Now, Saad al-Faqih's position here was more of a coordinator. He coordinated between the Libyans and between the people inside Libya that were supposedly going to carry out this attack. And he basically took the names from an associate of his that actually lives in London and passed on the information. So not only was he a facilitator, but more importantly, he was a coordinator of such an attack that was basically aimed at decapitating the kingdom of its senior leadership. So if that's not terrorism, then I don't know what terrorism means.
قد سئمناها حياة مرة ومللناه وجودا كالعدم رب أنت العون إن طاف بنا طائف البغي وأنت المنتقم قد سئمناها حياة مرة ومللناه وجودا كالعدم رب أنت العون.
Another list of names. Another list of names.
With their phone numbers?
The people who send by fax, they don't send their numbers. The people who use the text machine, they do. Now this person is very keen. He has sent his own ID card, the Saudi ID, what they call it, Hafizat al-Nafus, civil, they call it civil record,
Yes.
the civil record, to prove that this is a real person. Now here is another way of getting those names, and that is this is the main way actually. We rely on this way mostly in receiving the names and numbers and details. So the list has made people braver than before. It has proved the people that they have brothers and supporters everywhere, and they are ready to come together. So you are not alone. There are thousands and thousands of people who are like you, not only having your griefs and problems, but they are actually ready to sacrifice for the things they believe in. And that is the point. That's the main point. Now, next stage would be, instead of sending the names to us to put them on the screen, the real people themselves should come together and do something, whether it is a vigil or a demonstration or a strike or something like that.
الشرق من خطب عمم ما أصاب الشرق من خطب عمم ما أصاب الشرق من خطب عمم في حمى الحق ومن حول الحرم أمة تؤذى وشعب يهتضم فزع القدس وضجت مكة وبكت طيبة من فرط الألم في حمى الحق ومن حول الحرم أمة تؤذى وشعب يهتضم فزع القدس وضجت مكة وبكت طيبة من فرط الألم ربي هل قدرت ألا ينجلي.
You've been doing this for 10 years, Saad, from London. Although something could happen tomorrow, you could be doing this for another 10 years or 20 years.
Although I'm optimistic that this will not be happening for 10 years, because there has been a logarithmic increase in our activity, especially when we started the station, the TV station. So although I am optimistic that it will not take more than a few months, probably by the maximum 2 years, even without our activity, probably by problems inside the regime itself, although I'm optimistic about all this, I think I'm ready psychologically to go for another 20 years.
You must be very tired after 3 hours on air.
Well, I'm used, as a surgeon, sitting on sitting at the table for 7 hours sometimes. I remember one operation I needed 11 hours.
11 hours, what was the operation?
Some vascular operation, some delicate vascular operation. And because also I come from a sort of underground organization, we have intense discussions. I am used for long discussions. I remember one session we had 7 continuous hours of discussions. Yeah. I'm always troublemaker. I'm always the one who holds one side of the panel against another panel. يلا نروح تفضل اصبركم ها.
الشرق من خطب عمم ما أصاب 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 الشرق